My internet's been going on and off, so hopefully we'll be able to stay connected here long enough to make some coffee. So it is 9:53 a.m. on Friday, September 26th, 2025. Fresh out of the shower, wet hair. It's going to be thunderstorms today and not that hot. It's only going to go up to about 80. No, not going to the pool. It really came down last night, and that water is chilly, chilly, chilly after a big rainstorm. So I have got some Istanbul coffee here, okay? And the reason I picked it is because has spice notes. Now I've got one ice cube in here. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Okay, it is an espresso, and I want it to be kind of icy. Okay. And let the ice melt a little bit here. Okay. Now, I've got some ginger ale here. Yep. You know, this is an interesting thing. Starbucks actually made coffee with ginger ale. It was only popular in India, but because ginger is a very common spice in those areas. Now, I'm going to taste it like this, but I've also got, standing by, a little jar of ginger here. Fresh ginger would be better, but I don't use it often enough to buy it. You know, really, when it comes to foods and drinks, I think that it is disadvantageous to form preconceived notions about whether it's going to be good or not. This is really good. And it's very refreshing. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get one more ice cube because I would like it a little colder. Wow. So also there are some restaurants or bars or whatever where you can get coffee and ginger ale cocktails. So, and some of them even have like frothed milk and stuff. Usually those are fancy places where they'll grate, raw ginger, and they'll make their sugar syrup from sugar and water and all this stuff. I have skinny syrup if I need it sweetened with syrup. Okay. Now, let me see about my ginger here because, let me do this. Oh, my ginger has lost its zing. You know what? It's a little bit, but it's not really good. As pretty as it is to have all the different colored spices, in the jars and all that you can see, over time, they do lose their spice, their zing in the case of ginger. Oh my goodness, I've told you this before, but maybe some of you haven't heard it. This is yummy. When I was growing up, now my mother did not cook. Like, she could cook some eggs, and she knew how to throw a piece of pot roast in a pot and pour Heinz chili sauce over it, and I don't know if she put water in it or not, and covered it and cooked it till it was done. Her way of making meatloaf was to take the hamburger meat and just push it, into a loaf pan, make a big brick, in other words. She thought that adding breadcrumbs to it, or, oatmeal or something like that, was something that poor people did because they had to make the meat go further, for more people and last longer. So consequently, her meatloaf was like this solid brick of hamburger with, I mean, I don't know how we even cut the stuff. Anyhow, so she didn't bake. In fact, those were the days when we had gas ovens and you had to light the pilot light with a match if you were going to bake in the oven. And what she did, since she didn't bake, is she never lit the pilot light. She stored brown paper bags in the oven. You'd open our oven and there'd be a stack of, brown paper grocery bags, because they didn't have plastic bags in those days. Okay, so getting to the main part of the story. She had a big tin of, I'm sure it was McCormick's cinnamon, because I remember the red and white on the tin. And, it was big, like something like that. And that was in our house probably before I was ever born. And it was there when I left home at 17 to go away to college. It was there whenever I came back to visit from college. Anyhow, it had pretty much no flavor. So I did take a cooking class. You had to, when I was in like 7th grade, where I was first introduced to macaroni and cheese. I had never had it before. That was a revelation. Well, anyway, so finally, years and years and years later, when I had my own cinnamon in my own home, I thought you could keep it forever too. And then when I started drinking Nespresso coffee, actually, this is maybe in the last, 6, 7 years or something, and there were all these recipes using cinnamon. And I tasted my cinnamon because it didn't seem to have the zing that the recipes talked about. Well, I went out and bought some new cinnamon. Oh my gosh, this was like a revelation here about what cinnamon tasted like. So it's the same thing, that cinnamon my mother had and what I had in my house, thinking, spices would last forever. No, and especially when they're exposed to the light in these transparent glass jars, the light energy actually affects them and starts to break down the lovely zing of, in this case, ginger. So, yeah, I'm gonna toss out I have 2 jars of this. I'm gonna toss them out, and next time I'm gonna buy one of those short little squat things of ginger, which also, by the way, come in opaque. Here, I'll show you. Let me go get one. Okay, here we go. So, this is not completely opaque. Obviously, you can see it along the top and the bottom, but the label covers most of where the light would come in. So something like this will likely hold its flavor longer, and also, imagine it's cheaper, and there's some vague possibility that I might actually use it up, whereas something like this, I probably use 2 or 3 shakes of this in a year. So anyhow, all right. So a nice, refreshing morning drink. Ginger ale, it's 0-calorie ginger ale, and coffee. I do want to put just a tiny bit of sweetener in. I have my plain old simple syrup, skinny syrup in the pantry, but I don't feel like getting in there and rooting around for it. So I'll put a little bit of Splenda in. Why Splenda? Because that's what my hand reached first, in all my different artificial sweeteners there. Ah, yes, this has got it. This is lovely. And the coffee actually enhances the ginger taste, so that's really nice too. Okay, well, I hope that this was an eye-opener for you in more ways than one. It's an eye-opener for me. You know, and don't judge a coffee by the description they give you on the package, because, you know, you just need to try it. And don't judge a recipe by the ingredients, because the whole purpose for a recipe is to put things together so that the final product, the whole, will actually be more than what you would think the individual parts would be added together. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. I hope that you have a really good day today, and let's all try to be positive, because, you know, I can't make you positive, but I can make me positive. So let's all work on ourselves. I'll talk to you later.